Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something called the extended projection principle. You might see it written as EPP.
That's right. We've got some material here that really tries to pin down this key idea in syntax, in how sentences are built.
Yeah, and our mission really is to give you a clear path to understanding what the EPP actually does, why it matters for sentence structure. Bit of a shortcut, maybe?
Exactly. Think of it as understanding why sentences feel like they need a subject, even when it seems obvious. Why you can't just say raining in English, you have to say it's raining.
Okay, so let's start there. What exactly is the EPP at its core?
So, put simply, the EPP is this principle that says certain spots in the sentence structure have to be filled, they can't be empty.
Certain spots.
Yeah, and the main one, the one everyone talks about, is the specifier of the tense phrase. Spec-TP for short.
Spec-TP, okay.
Imagine it's like a designated parking spot, maybe, right near the tense part of the verb. And the EPP is the rule saying, nope, can't leave the spot empty. Someone's got to park there.
But why? Why is it so important that this Spec-TP slot is filled? What's the point?
Well, it seems to be a really fundamental requirement in many languages. It's not always about adding meaning. Sometimes it's just structural neatness, making sure the clause is grammatically, complete.
So it ensures every event or state has something associated with it, even if that something is just a placeholder.
Kind of, yeah. It ensures the structure holds together properly, you could say.
And this need to fill Spec-TP, that's often what makes the subject move, right?
Yeah.
To get into that standard subject position we expect.
Exactly that. If the subject starts lower down in the underlying structure, the EPP acts like a grammatical requirement saying, hey, you, get up here into Spec-TP.
It pulls it into place.
Precisely.
Okay, what about words like there, it? In there are cookies or it is sunny. They don't seem to mean much. Do they count for the EPP?
Oh, absolutely. They're classic examples. We call them expletives. They're basically placeholders.
Placeholders.
Yeah. When there isn't a real subject that needs to move there or available to move there, these little words step in just to satisfy the EPP, to fill that slot.
So the structure is happy, even if the meaning is carried elsewhere.
You got it. The EPP is satisfied.
Is this EPP thing universal? Like, does every language handle this the same way?
Good question. It's interesting. The general idea that sentences need some kind of subject element seems pretty widespread. But how the EPP is satisfied, or even if it's exactly the same principle, that can vary.
So different flavors of it.
Yeah, some languages might allow you to, say, drop the subject pronoun because the verb ending tells you enough. The EPP might be satisfied differently there, or maybe its effects are achieved by other means. It's a big area of research.
Okay. And what about agreement? Like verbs agreeing with subjects. Is the EPP tied up with that?
There's definitely a close relationship. Often the thing that lands in Spec-TP, the thing that satisfies the EPP, is also the thing that the verb has to agree with.
So being in that position makes it the candidate for agreement.
It often puts it in the right structural configuration, yeah. So the EPP helps set up the conditions for agreement to happen correctly.
Now, thinking about newer theories, like the minimalist program, is the EPP still seen as like a fundamental building block? Or are people trying to get rid of it?
Well, there's definitely a big push in minimalist syntax to see if we can explain the effects of the EPP without actually having a specific EPP rule.
How so?
By deriving those effects from other, maybe more basic principles like feature checking or other structural requirements. The goal is always to have the simplest theory possible.
Fewer specific rules, more general principles.
Exactly. So the jury is still out on whether EPP itself is needed or if it's just a description of phenomena better explained otherwise.
What about passive sentences or raising constructions like John seems to be happy? How does the EPP play out there?
Right. So in a passive like the cake was eaten, the original object, the cake, often moves to Spec-TP to satisfy the EPP.
Even though it wasn't the doer.
Right. Or you might get an expletive there. And with raising, like in John seems to be happy, John starts as the subject of to be happy, but it raises up to become the subject of seems, satisfying the EPP in that main clause.
Okay. It moves up to fill the required slot in the higher clause.
Precisely. The EPP drives that movement too.
Are there completely different ways theories try to explain this need for subjects without mentioning the EPP at all?
Oh, sure. There are alternative proposals. Some focus more on, say, information structure or discourse needs. Others might use different kinds of formal features. It's not the only game in town, theoretically speaking.
But is there solid evidence for the EPP? things linguists point to?
Well, the strong evidence is just how consistently subjects appear in that specific position across so many constructions and languages. And the fact that sentences often feel incomplete or just plain ungrammatical without something there.
Right, the patterns of movement, the need for expletives.
Exactly. Those facts need an explanation, and the EPP provides one framework for that.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. The core takeaway is that the extended projection principle, the EPP, is this idea that sentences have a structural need, particularly in that spec-T key position related to tense and the subject, that just has to be filled.
Yeah, it's a fundamental concept for understanding why subjects often end up where they do and why even dummy subjects like it or there exist.
Okay.
It shapes the basic architecture.
It really does. So thinking about those alternatives you mentioned, if we did manage to explain all this without the EPP, maybe deriving it from features or something else, what would that really change about how we view the core structure of a sentence? That's something to chew on.
Definitely food for thought. How deep do these requirements really go?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for walking us through the EPP today.